I'm Dr. Lanisha Robinson, your host for Career and Technical Education, #Build a Future. Working in St. Lucie Public Schools with the Career and Technical Education CTE department, we want to show what our teachers and students are doing in the classroom to close the skills gap in multiple fields. The students in these programs are earning industry certifications, which create more opportunities and options for all students after high school graduation. In this upcoming episode, you will meet Mr. John Williams, along with his student Amanda Perez from Treasure Coast High School, and learn more about the Industrial Biotechnology Academy. Welcome. Please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Mr. John Williams. I am the biotechnology teacher at Treasure Coast High School.
I'm Amanda Perez, and I'm a senior at Treasure Coast High School and also in the biotechnology program.
Okay. So, Mr. Williams, teaching industrial biotechnology, that career pathway, what are the different options or opportunities that exist for students that are graduating and completing your program successfully?
So absolutely. The biotechnology program is a 3-year long course at Treasure Coast High School in which students will learn how to act inside of a laboratory and hold themselves professionally while also understanding the concepts learned in a laboratory setting. So after completing the program, students have a couple different pathways that they can complete. So one of the pathways that they can choose is going straight into industry, working as laboratory technicians, working as quality control departments within their facilities around the state of Florida, even around the country. Another pathway that students can go through is through the post-secondary education. So higher education, going to universities and state colleges and trying to further their education and obtain bachelor's, master's, and even doctoral degrees.
Okay. I love the aspect of your students having opportunities. So no matter which path that they decide to take, they're able to have those opportunities because of what you're doing in the classroom with them. So thank you for that. Now, how do you keep current with what's going on in the industry and bring that back to your classroom?
Well, it's a very interesting question. The industry is changing very rapidly. You know, scientific developments in technology are ever changing. You know, we're coming up with new developments in research and new developments in scientific techniques. So trying to keep up to date with news articles, different laboratory techniques, even equipment is challenging but very rewarding also. So we're trying to implement those newer pieces of research and apply that to the curriculum in which we teach at Treasure Coast High School. Okay.
Now, one thing I want to make sure that everyone understands, and actually not necessarily understand, but know about you. You're a product of St. Lucie Public Schools, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what school did you attend?
So I attended Treasure Coast High School myself. So it's actually really interesting being back and being back in the classroom that I was actually taught in. So I attended Treasure Coast High School. I was a product of the Industrial Biotechnology program, and you know, took me 3 years, attained my certification, went out to University of Central Florida, studied biology and biotechnology there, obtained my bachelor's degree, and then St. Lucie Public Schools reached out to me and said, hey, we'd love to have you back. So it was a great opportunity, and I'm glad to be back.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure, and as well as I am, we are happy to have you back. So is that industrial biotechnology, was that always the pathway that you wanted to take for yourself?
For the most part. I mean, so studying, researching anywhere from molecular biotechnology to animal research has always been a desire of mine, has always, you know, piqued my interest, and you know, it started all back when I was in high school. I mean, I took the Biotechnology Academy, and Mr. Emerson was an awesome teacher, and he mentored me through the advanced stages of biology and chemistry, and really kind of set me on the pathway to carry out that desire of mine to you know, do research and experimentation. So it wasn't really a hard decision for me. You know, even going through college, there was not a change in heart when it came to what I wanted to do. The only thing that I could say changed was, instead of me going to go work in industry, instead of working in a laboratory, senior year came around in college, and they were, you know, turned my interest from experimentation in a laboratory to coming back and teaching, you know, other students and trying to put them on the pathway like Mr. Emerson put me.
And it's also great to have a teacher that went through the same experiences that you did, because you feel like you can connect with him more as, you know, because you're going to be spending like 3 years with him. It's great to have you know, someone that you feel like you can relate to.
Okay. Now, Amanda, how did you yourself decide to join the Industrial Biotechnology program?
So when I was a freshman, I knew that I wanted to do something within science, but I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So joining the biotechnology program allowed me to really have a large scope of like a lot of different sciences to see what exactly I was really interested in. And just doing the biotechnology program made me realize that I was definitely into laboratory research. So it was great to actually get that experience so early on in the program.
All right. And now, is research your career path? Is that what you're thinking that you want to, like, your goals for a future?
Yes, I'm thinking pharmaceutical research and development.
Nice. All right. All right. So for career technical education, we also wanted to connect our middle school students to the high school route, and then also to let them know, like you mentioned before, having those pathways, right? Where they can choose to go to post-secondary route or go straight into the career, right? Either way, they're going to end up in a career, right? So how are you connecting middle school students to the high school program?
So I believe that's a very important concept, right? We have to connect the children or the middle school students with their high school programs that they might be interested in, right? And sometimes middle school students aren't really aware of what they are interested in, or not aware of what the programs out there are. So we have in the past held virtual tours of our academy, of our Industrial Biotechnology lab, and kind of shown students, middle school students, the kind of labs that we do, the kind of experimentation, what goes on in the classroom. And we've even when we have some students at science fair, they'll go to the district science fair, and I kind of walk around the middle school area, you know, kind of stray away from the high school area, and kind of see what kind of experimentation they are. And I talk to them about their experiments and say, hey, listen, you know, there is a program for student research and experimentation at Treasure Coast High School, and maybe that might be of interest to them. So just trying to reach out, trying to let them know about the programs, because you know, sometimes even at the middle school age, they're not really thinking about that kind of progression yet.
Okay. And then how are you informing your current students, like at the high school level, letting them know, like, these are current opportunities that are available right here on the Treasure Coast, or even within our area?
Well, I think it just comes down to being knowledgeable about what is in the area. I mean, we have a great advisory board for the Industrial Biotechnology program. We work with Kaiser University and Indian River State College, as well as partnering with Florida Institute or Florida International University. They all have facilities around this area, so just trying to keep in contact with them, see what programs they have, as well as any sort of outreach to companies that may not be directly related to post-secondary, and seeing what kind of job shadowing industry, and then relaying that back to the students, right? Trying to get them on this right page, get their resumes up to date, get their experience up to date, so that they can actually take what they learn in that classroom and apply it to a real-world scenario.
Okay. And if we were to shadow a student in your class, or we were to shadow, just to be in your class one day observing, what kind of hands-on will we see, or what kind of lessons will we be seeing your students engaged in?
Well, that changes day to day. I mean, every day is a new experience for them. I try and kind of couple it all with instructional learning. So one day you might be, you know, learning or hearing a lecture about microbiology, and then the next day you might be in the lab, part of our classroom, and culturing microorganisms that have been genetically modified. So we are kind of back and forth between the instructional lecture-based and as well as the hands-on experimental based. And then sometimes students, we give them opportunities to, you know, create their own lab reports, do data analysis, do research through other peer-reviewed publications, so that they can actually see how in the real world research is actually compiled in sort of a professional research publication.
And I think it's really important that students are getting that real world connection. Like you mentioned, how you're connected with those advisory board members, but not only them, but looking at what research opportunities are available right here. You know what I mean? And sometimes you do have to go outside of our area, and that's okay. But our students know that they could always go to school here, and they can always live here as when they become, you know, those future adults for our area. Now, Amanda, Mr. Williams just mentioning some of the project and hands-on, the skills labs, the lessons that he does with you all. What is your favorite part about the academy or being in the program?
It's definitely the first-hand hands-on experience that you receive as a teenager. It's definitely extremely beneficial for when you're going to go off into college, or if you're going to go off right into the workforce. It's great because you feel ahead of your peers. and you already just have a lot of that basic laboratory knowledge and skill that you're gonna need.
Was there a favorite project or experimentation that you all did that was like just stood out in your mind?
Definitely, when we did electrophoresis, because that was one of my first times doing electrophoresis, it was really cool to see how everything worked. And not only that, there's also a couple of times where you work with bacterial cell cultures. It's just all a great hands-on learning experience that you get to, even if you don't quite understand it as you're doing it, it's still amazing to be able to see it happen right in front of you when this is like industrial level stuff that you're gonna be seeing when you're older.
And one of the key points as well that I like to mention, or that you all just kind of elaborate on, is I'm thinking work-based learning. You know, I'm hearing that as you're speaking, as you both are talking and discussing with us. Why is it important to have work-based learning? Why do we have that concept as part of not only career and education, but looking at in your program in your classroom?
Well, it's their future. I mean, it's what the students are going to be participating in their future. Sure, the lecturing is important and the knowledge base is important, but if we can get those students to participate in experimentation that real-world professional laboratory scientists are participating in, then they're already getting that experience before they even go off to college or go into industry. So they will already have that experience. They'll already be ahead of their peers when it comes to the education that they need. Because they already have that baseline experience at a high school level. We gauge that experience, that work-based experience, towards the college level curriculum. I've taken knowledge that I've learned from college and put forth a program that is created to simulate the same labs that they do at a upper level, third or fourth year college, laboratory. So by the time they get there, hopefully that's triggering back the memories of high school. They go, oh, I know how to micropipette, or I know how to run an electrophoresis. So it's just, hopefully by the time we get to those college level classes, you are already one step or multiple steps ahead of where other students could be. And that's gonna benefit you on internships and resumes and even research opportunities at an undergraduate level that some other students may not be able to participate in because these students should be so far ahead.
Now, you're talking about students who are basically at that advanced level. Now, Amanda, I know that you've had the unique opportunity to work over the summer. Is that correct? And can you explain, because I know it was through FIU.
Yes.
Now, can you explain what exactly did you do over your summer? That is very unique, because I want to say this because not all students had this opportunity, but you were afforded this opportunity.
Yeah, it was a great experience. I'm so glad that they accepted me in. It was at Florida International University, the Center for Translational Science. It's right by in tradition. It's it's only like 3 years old. It's fairly new. They had different pathways that you could take while you were at that internship. You could work with neurological diseases, you could work with cell pathways. I specifically worked with pulmonary arterial cells, and it was about a month-long course where I basically was just in the lab. I was learning, I was researching, I was doing my own experimentation. It was really a great experience to kind of see what it's like to really be at one of those high-tech laboratory facilities and working alongside a doctor who has had multiple years of experience doing this stuff. You feel like really, you feel confident. And especially with the biotechnology program, I really knew what I was doing almost. It was like I wasn't completely foreign to what was around me. I could kind of like maneuver my way around. I had the basic laboratory knowledge that really, really helped me to just, do the experimentation to the best of my ability.
And then with your program, what kind of equipment or materials or supplies do you have in your room that they also had at the research center?
Sure. So one of the most basic piece of equipment that we have that is also shared amongst professional laboratories is an autoclave. And this is just to make sure that whenever we do experimentation, we reduce the possibility of contamination. So by heating and pressurizing the equipment that we're using, we're actually killing off all microorganisms, all viral kind of possibilities that could contaminate our results, because contamination is a huge problem when it comes to false positives or different results in the lab that could determine somebody's diagnosis. So we also have partnered with a company, and we have a hydroponic system inside of our laboratory where we're growing cucumbers with a soilless based situation. So it's inside, it's indoors, it's in a chamber, controls the humidity, controls the temperature, all through the process. So we've grown cucumbers and we've grown lettuce so far. We're thinking of growing tomatoes in the second semester. And then finally we have a gel dock system, which after we run electrophoresis, which is a process of separating DNA by size to analyze different genomic sequences within an organism, we can actually visualize those using UV rays underneath this gel dock system so that we're able to compare and contrast results.
Okay. Now, earlier you had mentioned the STEM fair, right? Can you explain us how your students are actually connected to the STEM fair? Give me some examples, some projects that they have also done.
So the STEM fair is something that I try and connect my biotechnology students with every year. Typically, I will encourage my juniors to carry out some sort of research that they can then present at a STEM fair level, whether it's school-based or district level. And last year, I believe we sent 8 students to the district level. We sent 2 to the state level. Last year, Amanda was one of those students who participated at the state level. And and it doesn't always have to be biology that they participate in. Some students are interested in environmental engineering. Some students are interested in chemistry. So, and that's the great thing about biotechnology is it's a combination of all these fields that these students, maybe they don't want to do specifically biology, but maybe chemistry or, physics, engineering. And so they can actually take all the information that they learn from biotechnology and apply that to their STEM field, STEM fair research.
Okay. So Amanda, you were also part of the STEM fair as well?
Yes, it was amazing. It was so fun. I would do it a million times over.
Now, what grade are you in?
I'm a senior as of now.
All right, and then I know you said you want to do pharmacy or go that route, but are you looking at any schools or what your future will be?
I'm definitely looking at the University of Florida or the University of South Florida because they both have pharmacy schools.
Okay, and don't forget, you can always come back to us. So another aspect of can you explain to us your students who are either interns that outside of Amanda, because she's one of your I can see she's a rising star already.
Absolutely.
What kind of, once students are done, do you have any success stories to share of students who actually work in the field now?
Absolutely. So we had a student a couple years ago, Dominique Thomas, who was also a product of the Industrial Biotechnology program. She participated in the International Science Fair a couple of years ago. Actually earned internships through the state of Florida to go off to, I believe, West Virginia to do an internship there. And at the international level, she earned an internship to go to Israel to participate in internships there. Unfortunately, those two timelines overlapped, and she chose to do the one in West Virginia. But she was also another student who really embraced the biotechnology program, obtained everything that she could from it, learned as much information as possible, and now she's a very successful student down in Miami with the University of Miami. George Dosh is a student who we had get certified, attended Indian River State College for 2 years, and then actually took his experience and his knowledge and went up to University of Florida and is now doing undergraduate research up in Gainesville. So, I mean, there's a bunch of different opportunities for students. Wilver was another intern at the FIU program last year, and he's actually now continuing his education at Indian River State College.
Okay. So one of the key points that you also mentioned, you had said industry certifications. What industry certifications do you offer to all of your students? So
we have 2 industry certifications that we offer in their junior year or in the second level of industrial biotechnology. We offer an agricultural biotechnician specialist. So a lot of people hear agriculture and they think just plants, harvesting, growing crops. But we actually take a biotechnological spin on that and start talking about genetically modifying plants, genetically modifying livestock, dairy farms, dairy cows, and trying to apply the genetics that we learn in those courses to a laboratory experience so that we can actually provide, more yield of crops, better producing fruits, because obviously our population is increasing. We need to come up with alternative methods of growing and harvesting more crops for the more people we have. So being able to advance those biotechnological advancements in agriculture is a step that we want to take.
And I feel like that hydroponics machine is also really cool. Like, hey, we have this cool looking machine. Like, come and join our program.
Yeah, and it's a great opportunity to kind of see how different environmental factors affect like plant growth, right? So we can actually take an area of land that may not be suitable for growth, and if we start to build these facilities of hydroponics, we don't care if it doesn't rain, in a desert area. If we build a facility of hydroponics, we can grow crops in areas that we never thought we could grow crops in before.
Wow.
The second certification that we have is the Biotechnology 3, or the third level certification. It is the Biotechnician Assistant Credentialing Examination. It is through the Biotility, which is a company of University of Florida. And that is a very comprehensive, very difficult, but very rewarding certification that students can obtain. It tests both their knowledge as well as their laboratory techniques. So they actually have to sit down and they will do experimentation, send that back off to Biotility, and Biotility will grade their results at a professional level to see whether or not they are certified in their ability to carry out experimentation.
So you're offering not just one, but multiple industry certifications.
Absolutely.
So when we think about this, when I'm thinking about our future, thinking about the students, this is not only a time saver, because they're earning certifications right now while they're in high school, but it's also financially is saving money for these students. There's, what on average, what is the cost for just one exam?
So for example, the Biotechnician Assistant Credential, the senior level exam, is $180 per student. So if you wanted to go take the certification on your own, you'd have to be paying $180 for each attempt. So students who are in this program have the benefit of, taking this exam for free for completing this program. And so that gives them the opportunity to obtain a certification with no cost to them and leave high school, graduate high school with this certification that even college students are taking.
And it really shows your future employers that you have the knowledge and you have the skills to be able to complete certain tasks, and it allows you to be more flourishing in those type of laboratory environments.
Okay. Have you earned any industry certifications as of yet?
Yes, I've earned the Agriculture Biotechnician Specialist, and I'm currently studying to earn the base at University of Florida.
Okay. Now, I know you had mentioned basically different routes that students can take with these industry certifications, but what are the career opportunities? Like if Amanda right now earning this cert, what can she do, let's say straight out of high school, or many of our students, what they'll do is they'll go to Inner River State College, they'll go to Kaiser University, our local schools, and they're able to work their way through college because of the certifications that they've earned.
Yeah, so that's a great question, because everyone wants to know, some people may not be interested in post-secondary education. They might want to, join the workforce right out of high school. So the certifications actually put them on a pathway to become a laboratory technician. So a lot of our students in the past have gone off to be pharmacy technicians at CVS and Walgreens and Publix. We even have a couple that are working right now in St. Lucie County as Publix pharmacy technicians. So anything that has to do with very entry-level experimentation, obviously it's a step in the door, and then they can build upon that and grow their career as a laboratory technician. But just those certifications say, hey, listen, I know what needs to be done in a laboratory. I know how to hold myself properly. I know how to, stay safe in a laboratory. I just need the opportunity to be in here. So just any sort of entry-level laboratory job at, Quest Laboratories, they have to process, samples, blood work. Those are all opportunities that students can have leaving just the high school level.
Okay. And another aspect of it is when you think about you're preparing students for industry, sort of with industry certifications, but also the employability skills, those 21st century skills. How are you preparing your students to be not just successful, like, okay, yes, you have your different routes that you could take after graduation from high school, but these are employability skills that I'm infusing inside of each of my students. How are you doing that?
So it's just a manner of holding yourself in a professional kind of setting. So when we take a look at STEM Fair, when we take a look at the presenting of research, right, you're going to have to speak to people. And whatever job you have in the future, you need to be able to present information. You have to be able to speak with somebody at some point. So by participating in this research or STEM Fair, they have to present that research to either me, somebody at the district, another scientist. So those soft skills, which are being able to present and hold themselves in a professional manner, get in a proper professional attire, hold yourself in a way that employers kind of look for. That's all part of the Biotechnology Academy. We try and hold ourselves to a higher standard because when you all leave the Biotechnology Academy, I'm hoping that you guys are the most, highest level science students in St. Lucie County with the highest experience, because that's what we're trying to accomplish when it comes to employability skills.
Right, and STEM Fair really does help with that aspect for a lot of younger students because it really helps you speak eloquently and professionally in front of science, people who have been in the science field for a very long time. It's actually really humbling to be in front of someone, they have a doctorate in whatever you're talking about. And it really helps you gain that extra knowledge and that out-of-field experience that you just wouldn't get at high school.
And they also turn around and they actually give feedback to the students, which is beneficial for them because they may not have thought of this, maybe doing the experiment this way, or trying to give that feedback, give their professional opinion on your experimentation, how you can manipulate it, how you can change it. So it is very beneficial for those students to present their research.
Okay. Now, if there was someone that wanted more information about the program, or they wanted to see what exactly is going on at Treasure Coast High School, how could they find out more information?
Absolutely. So you can always reach out to Treasure Coast High School. There's a website that they can go to, and they can actually see the information about the Industrial Biotechnology course, our course load, and we can actually get to a point where if you need to sit down and email me, they can always find my email on that website and on the district website as well.
Okay. So also, one last point I want to make sure to mention for anyone that's a future student or someone that's considering the program, you also offer a way that program completers are able to get college credit through articulation. Can you explain that to us, please?
Sure. So we have articulation agreements with state colleges and Indian River State College as well, where they can actually earn college credit for completing the Biotechnology Academy. So if you complete Biotech 1, 2, and 3, you finish the program, but maybe you didn't, earn the certifications, you can still earn college credit. And you did earn the certifications, still earn college credit, save you some money, save you some time by getting those entry-level science credits in college.
Okay. So as we prepare to close, all right, thank you both for joining us. But this is a program that offers cost saving, time saving, and not only because they're earning certifications, but they're also getting college credits. All right. Thank you. So I'm Dr. Lanisha Robinson, and this is Career and Technical Education, #Build a Future. I encourage you to view St. Lucie Public Schools Career and Technical Education's webpage, and also our St. Lucie Public Schools district page. In Career and Technical Education, we are establishing a pipeline from the secondary to post-secondary and career pathways for all of our students. We are building a future and continuing to close the skills gap. On behalf of the station's team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.